Than it did yesterday.
And it's going to feel a little different tomorrow too, right?
Yeah, we have a nasty situation setting up for late tomorrow. Again, it'll be late tomorrow, so we'll really kind of dive more into that coverage coming up on that forecast in just a little bit.
Look forward to hearing from Matt on that. Great to be with you again, Betsy, and everyone at home. A very good Wednesday afternoon to all.
Well, all these up and down temperatures that we have been experiencing mean that you're going to be going up and down on the roads too. We're talking about potholes. They not only ruin your commute, they can damage your car. Emma Henderson digs into what's being done to fill potholes across our area as the temperatures are expected to take another nosedive.
If you've driven around in the past couple days, you've likely come across segments of the road that look like this: Pothole Central.
All the weather conditions are just perfect for them. We're seeing the ice and snow melting, it's saturating through the pavement and into the ground, and then it gets cold again and it freezes and it kind of heaves everything up.
So what's the solution? Right now, it's something called a cold patch, basically the equivalent of a road Band-Aid.
The asphalt plants are closed during the winter months, so we use other material like cold patch to do our best to patch those potholes up and hope that it will last for the rest of the winter.
ODOT is only responsible for interstates and state routes like I-71 and I-90, meaning cities are responsible for theirs. Akron encourages people to call 311 if they have potholes to report. For ODOT, you can go to their website. Either way, crews are making quick fixes to try and smooth out your ride in dangerous situations as cars speed by.
So I just want to remind everyone that it is the law in Ohio that when you see a roadside worker with flashing lights on their vehicle, that you must move over. And if you can't move over, please slow down.
I do unfortunately have some bad news for you. As long as that snowing and thawing process continues, these potholes are something we're going to continue to see pop up in our area. And Betsy, the ODOT plows are already preparing for tomorrow.
Yeah, we were at 60 degrees a couple days ago. We're sitting below freezing now and going down from here. So lots of potholes still to come. Emma Henderson reporting live for us tonight. Thanks.
Well, now on your feet at 5, the camera never blinks, so watch your speed. Several of our Northeast Ohio communities are again turning to traffic cameras in an effort to slow down drivers. Sarah Shookman tells us which towns are using the speed cams and why. Sarah, I am waiting with bated breath to hear what you have to say.
Well, it is really mail that nobody likes to receive, Jay. That surprise ticket sometimes comes weeks after you may not have realized what speed you were traveling. But again, some greater Cleveland communities are turning to these because they do seem to work as a deterrent to slow things down. In Mayfield, after a month of warnings, police officers manning handheld laser cameras along I-271 started mailing tickets on January 1st. And in 6 weeks, the village collected more than $54,000. The police chief, Paul Matthias, told me today he's not surprised at all. He knew they had a problem in late 2020 when ODOT data showed a 100% increase in cars going over 85 miles an hour in a 60 speed zone. Now, they are using the cameras only during weekday rush hours and only have ticketed drivers traveling 16 or more miles an hour over the limit.
You can get the photo ticket, there's a good chance you'd be getting pulled over and getting a normal ticket. So, again, we're not doing anything that we haven't been doing for years. So, just slow down a little bit.
Mailed tickets. One of the reasons to choose mailed tickets over those traditional traffic stops is for the safety of the officers, where there's no safe place to pull over. That was one of the motivators for nearby Gates Mills, which will soon use the same company, Gatso, to run fixed traffic cameras along Mayfield Road. Those will be going up in late spring. And at 6, we'll take you across town to Parma Heights, where City Council is considering activating its existing cameras again and expanding some handheld technology use. Now, Jay, I know I have been on the receiving end of these photo tickets before. It's not fun, but overwhelmingly I heard today, for the people who are bothered to see these up and running again, if you follow the law, you have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, and I have to admit, I too have been on the receiving end of that unwelcome mail. Sarah, how fair these cameras are in terms of how legal has been questioned again and again, because we had heard at one point that they were borderline on the edge of being not legal. What do you know about the communities that are using them, and do they fall under that umbrella of legal use?
Well, they do. These are legal uses right now. And in most cases, the state does allow for legal use. I mean, the Supreme Court has heard these challenges. And we are right now waiting to hear about another lawsuit from Newburgh Heights and some other cities over House Bill 62 earlier this month. This one a little bit different, but legislators passed a bill back in 2019 to deter cities from using photo enforcement by reducing the state money that would be given to local governments dollar for dollar by the amount of fines collected. Well, Newburgh Heights, which makes some $2 million on photo enforcement a year along I-77, they say that's unfair. So while we wait on that ruling, the Ohio House is also considering 7 new and separate bills that would regulate and mostly restrict how cities and villages could use these traffic cameras in the future. Yeah, it's fascinating. I once had a police officer tell me, if you just operate your vehicle as if the cameras are everywhere, you'll never have to worry about it. That's pretty good advice. That is always true. Sarah, thanks.
Well, today the White House announced new sanctions against Russia. The Biden administration put sanctions against the company that built a key natural pipeline between Russia and Germany that Germany announced yesterday it was halting. However, analysts say sanctions of any kind might not stop Russian President Vladimir Putin's plans. Meanwhile, Ukraine is preparing to impose a state of emergency and is calling up its National Guard. So far, it does not look like President Putin plans to back down. And as tensions rise with Russia, U.S. Homeland Security is warning that every organization in the U.S. is at risk of a Russian cyber attack. From our power grids to our communication lines to our banking systems, U.S. officials worry a digital assault could bring the front lines of the war to our front door.
The United States has the largest and the most technologically advanced economy in the world. But that also means we have the most points of attack.
Act as if you know that attack is coming, because if it comes and you're not ready, it can be devastating.
Homeland Security says every government office, business, and organization needs to verify all remote users' access, use multi-factor authentication, and make sure your security software is up to date. And it might not be a bad idea for you to do that on your personal devices, too. Yeah. So important when the updates come down, especially on your phones. Those are security updates a lot of times. Those are good plugins. And then, you know, kind of, I guess, put up the alerts, your own little antenna about internal mail, external mail, things that just don't look right, things that are a little bit unusual, don't click. Yeah, it's incredible what a harmless click, what you think is a harmless click on an email link can do. It can open your business, your company, the company you work for, up to any number of cyber attacks. And here's something that I read about this afternoon, and I don't want to scare anybody, but I was terrified reading it because these are very real possibilities. Mm-hmm. Remember last year when we had major hacks against our Colonial Pipeline, which is the largest fuel pipeline in the United States, and also JBS, that is the largest meat processing company in the world. Both of those attacks were successful, and for a while it crippled those operations. At the time, the Russian government officially denied any involvement in these hacks, but experts warn us, and they believe that Kremlin works closely with cyber criminals to carry out these attacks. Right, and now cyber criminals are going, oh, this is a great time, we could just blame it on the Russians, let's go. So it's kind of twofold. Yeah, it's terrifying. It reminds you how much we rely, from communications to the electric grid and banking, on the internet. Everything. Well, we have good news tonight for Lorain County residents. On Monday, Lorain City Council passed a resolution that could create at least 3,000 union jobs. According to the resolution, Bartlett Maritime Corp proposed building a dry dock in Lorain and a maintenance facility in Lordstown to maintain its submarines. Currently, the Navy only has 4 shipyards that maintain most of its submarine fleet. A 2020 report showed that there was a big need for maintenance on these subs. Shipyards have a long history in Lorain, going all the way back to 1819, and they were active, these shipyards, through the 1970s. So this is actually, I thought it was a really good idea because the population base in Lorain, most of the people there either have older relatives or know someone that worked in that industry. And the one thing that I know from being from Sandusky and close enough to Lorain, the folks there have a
serious blue-collar work ethic.
That's the thing.
And that's where companies like this need to look more to. In the old Rust Belt, where they used to pound steel, it can be very, very helpful.
Thank goodness for that St. Lawrence Seaway. Bring those subs in. That's going to be kind of weird, right? Seeing subs in Lake Erie that aren't, the cod.
Yeah, it would be different for sure. But I hope it works out for Lorain, because that could be a nice boon for their economy. 3,000 well-paying jobs. That'd be nice.
Would be great, certainly. Coming up for us, everybody, heart health, the surprising shot that you can get that may end up protecting you from heart disease.
And back to Bridgerton, the new trailer for the show that was inspired by the Netflix hit. That's coming up in your Pop Rate.
Yes, I love that show. All right, Matt, what's coming up in our forecast?
You guys have me hungry talking about all those subs earlier. Peyton's stomach is growling as well. In terms of hunger, if you're hungry for more winter weather, we've got it coming, but not tonight. It's going to be quiet. We're in the 20s with just cloudy skies. We've lost the snow flurries we had earlier. We do have a winter storm coming in. We'll talk impacts, timing, and all that as we go through your full forecasts after the break.
Welcome back to What's New. Today is Wellness Wednesday, and as we near the end of February, which is, of course, American Heart Month, we are focusing on heart health.
And if you still need to get your flu shot, it's not too late. In fact, having a flu shot can also help your heart. The CDC says flu season peaks from December through February, and it's been linked to poor cardiovascular outcomes like heart attacks and strokes. Preventative cardiologist Dr. Sadir Al-Kindi with University Hospital's Harrington Heart and Vascular Institute says preventing the flu can reduce your risk of cardiac problems.
Vaccination for influenza is one of the most important medical interventions that we can do for individuals who present with heart attack. I think it's very important that we raise awareness to the kind of very poor combination of having heart disease and influenza. And add to that, now we're in the COVID pandemic, having a triple exposure is really extremely, not well tolerated, especially in patients who have had heart attacks in the past, strokes in the past.
And there's new research from the American Heart Association that found people vaccinated against the flu within 72 hours of a heart attack have added health benefits even beyond flu season, such as removing blockage and restoring blood flow in the brain, which can minimize the damage of stroke. It is incredible to me how everything is kind of stitched together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
One change in your body's chemistry or your metabolism or your immune system, and it has so many other impacts that you don't even think about as being connected. I would never connect the flu and my heart.
You know, I wouldn't either, but I think the one thing that if we didn't already know before the COVID pandemic that everyone knows now is how vulnerable those are that are in those high-risk groups, whether you have other comorbidities or if you're elderly. And when you think about that, it just makes perfect sense that if your immune system is powerful, you're better equipped to fight off COVID and survive. And it makes sense that that would be the case with flu as well. And I think we're all starting to pay more attention, Bets, to what you're talking about, this huge woven cloth of body health and how it's all interactive, particularly with the respiratory system. It affects everything.
I think a lot of folks have been trying to figure out how they're going to get some exercise done with these temperatures that we've had, going in, going out. Hopefully you were able to get out and do a little bit of exercising when the weather was nice. Today, probably not so much. Tomorrow, I think we get a window for it, but boy, tomorrow night, things are really going to be a little bit tricky for us.
Yeah, good for ice skating. If anyone's, an ice skater.
There you go.
Yeah, you get that going.
Yeah, that works. Cross-country skiing is always another one that you can really build up some cardio. Speaking of that, that's your weather word today, cardio.
Good luck with that.
I appreciate that.
I know you'll do it.
Can't wait to see how you do this.
Real easy. It's not like we have a storm to talk about or anything. I'll get that going on the brain. Do you guys like roller coasters?
Love.
Because we just went on one, weather-wise. Just dropped a snowball from the Weather Center. Look at temperatures last 20 hours. Remember yesterday at this time? I don't. It was in the upper 50s near 60. Woo! Look at that temp drop from 53 to 40 between 12 and 1. We've been stuck in the 20s all afternoon. And it's going to kind of stay right where it's at over the next 24 hours. We're going to get some warming down to the south with the system, but we're locked into the cold off towards the north. We're 20s and near 30 right now. Tonight, again, we kind of flatline there. You notice how we have clouds sticking around. No snow out of this. No snow expected as we go through the daybreak hours unless you're a little bit further south. It's really everything kind of goes downhill tomorrow evening. So we're not talking an impactful day tomorrow evening. So how are we setting the stage for the storm system? Look at this massive amount of cold air. This is all the way down to Texas, teens and 20s, Dallas in the 20s right now. We go from the 80s to the 30s in areas of Mississippi and Louisiana, going all the way down to the Gulf Coast. This frontal boundary went through has stalled, and along it we're seeing another wave of low pressure develop. It's going to kind of come back off towards the north. We've got two waves of moisture with us still. Here's the initial wave. Notice the Gulf of Mexico open for business. We're just now getting the moisture into this system. So how does it evolve? Well, we got this initial round here. This will move in. It's moving into dry air, so we'll likely squeeze out some flurries, maybe some snow showers further south you get. That would be overnight tonight. This is the wave we're waiting on, though. Here's the break Betsy was talking about. You can get outside, do some cardio around the noon through about 3 o'clock hour, and then we get this next push of moisture. This is the one that's going to make things messy around here. It's not going to be a blockbuster winter storm. This isn't going to be something that shuts everything down. It's going to be a nuisance to downright tricky at times if you're out traveling tomorrow night on into Friday. So let's go closer to home with your National Design hour-by-hour forecast. Dry tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if we had some flurries or snow showers south. A lot of that will be evaporating before it hits the ground, but I think our model kind of underdoing that tonight. So we may have a coating down to the south of some snow showers. 11 o'clock tomorrow. Sun might peek out. Where's the storm weather, man? Well, it's not here yet. It's going to be down to the south. It's going to be a pretty nice, uneventful afternoon. It's tomorrow evening from rush hour really and beyond that we start to increase that precip as it moves in. It will likely come in with a decent push initially with likely some big snowflakes, pretty good push of moisture in here. This would put down a coating on area roadways. Watch what happens through time, though. We're bringing warmer air in aloft, not necessarily here at the surface, so we're going to change over to an icy mix. How far north does that get? That's still in question, but I do think we'll have some sleet and snow mix from Cleveland. You get down towards the Akron, Worcester, Dover area. We're talking sleet and freezing rain. Boy, didn't we just do this a week ago? That line holds. We bring a little perhaps rain into our southern counties Friday morning. Colder air wraps back in. This thing's out of here as we get into Friday afternoon. In terms of snowfall totals, well, general 2 to 4 inches off towards the north, so no blockbuster totals. We will have some icing, especially down to the south. And remember, those two are going to kind of overlay each other. That's why we're going with an icy mix with this forecast. Your winter storm timeline, and we'll talk about that in our next weather hit. Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast. We get a little bit warmer after this. Next week, all indication is that we have a nice warm up slated for us as we break above freezing. But again, 2 rough days to get through first, and then we'll get out of it.
We can take it. We've been here, done that.
We're strong.
Doesn't mean it's fun, though. All right, thanks so much, Matt. Coming up for us, everybody, baby Beckham. A big congratulations goes out to a former Browns player. That's ahead in your pop break.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Then, how cute is this dog and his little sister? Stay tuned and see what the two get into after her nap is through.
Oh, it's not until 6:30, shorty. Hey, Matt, did you look at our topics today? So we got OBJ had his baby. Dang, what else am I talking about? Pretty much.
Well, we've got a lot to talk about for you in today's Pop Break.
That's right. So Kira Cotton joins us from the live. Please read it.
Kira Cotton joins us live from the newsroom with what's popping in the entertainment world.
Hey, Jay and
Hi,
Betsy.
Key.
Thanks, Key.
What's going on? We are certainly covering our bases here today in Pop Break. We've got everything from new additions to dating shows. So let's get to it. Up first, congratulations are in order for former Cleveland Browns wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. The LA Rams player announced this morning that he and girlfriend Lorain Woods welcomed a baby boy last week. He shared the news in a post on Instagram with pictures of the two in bed with their new little one, whose name is Zyden. OBJ also used his post to share with fans that he had successfully undergone knee surgery for the injury that took place during the Super Bowl. And all good things must come to an end, even the scary ones. Jamie Lee Curtis has said goodbye to her longtime character Laurie Strode from the Halloween franchise. The 63-year-old actress shared several black and white photos to her Instagram saying that she had finished filming its final movie. She wrote, "A bittersweet end for me on the Halloween movies. I've made great friends and have collaborated with wonderful artists on these 3 movies, and today my part in the film has been completed. Halloween Ends, the final in that franchise, is set to be released October 14th. And from direct messages to handwritten letters, NBC has released the first trailer for its Bridgerton-inspired dating show, The Courtship. The show follows Nicole Remy back to England's Romance era as she tries to find her soulmate using classic methods. 16 suitors will vie for her heart while participating in traditional courting activities such as archery, carriage rides, and even masquerade balls. But even if someone wins Nicole's heart, they'll still need approval from her court. So, Jay and Betsy, what this all boils down to is whether or not Nicole will be able to find modern love using old ways. The show is set to premiere March 6th.
I mean, I think there's going to be some differences, not like, you know, the old school modern ways. It's just kind of spoofing the old ways into a modern spin.
We'll see how it all works out.
I have to admit, you're speaking a completely foreign language for me right now. I know nothing about the show. I have to admit. What I do know something about, though, I'd like to congratulate Beckham on the birth of his second child. But think about the 6 months that it's been for him. Cut by the Browns, signed by the Rams, makes the Super Bowl, catches a touchdown in the Super Bowl, re-tears his ACL, Rams win the Super Bowl.
Has surgery for the ACL.
Baby born.
Another baby.
Wow, I hope things slow down for him next year.
Just
That's a lot.
Bit. He'll be all right.
He will. Thanks, Key. Hey, it doesn't get much cuter than a bond between a dog and its human sibling. Sully just loves being a big brother to his new little sister. He watches over her while she sleeps. But then, Betsy, she's also driving the fun bus. Because once she wakes up, let the games begin. And it seems that the young baby loves being pulled by Sully.
Did anybody else like go toward their TV like, oh?
I know. Well, at one point,
the baby's like
she leans back and I'm like, oh no, this could be bad.
Maybe put a helmet on.
Yeah, I know. That's the only good thing is there wouldn't be too far for the baby to fall, but you don't want to see anything bad happen right there.
That doggo.
That is so great.
All right.
I love it.
Coming up next for us at 5:30, are you one of those people who does not clear the snow and ice from the roof of your car? Personal pet peeve of mine.
Mine too.
We're going to show you why you should and the damage that you could cause if you don't.
Then it's back to the books. After a short hiatus, our after-school tutoring program is up and running again. We're going to show you what's changed and how kids are benefiting from it.
And Ticket Toll. We'll tell you how much more you'll be paying to see the Browns play at First Energy Stadium next season. More? I bet there's a few opinions on that.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
We begin tonight at 5:30 with 3 things you need to know. A Mentor man who pleaded guilty to killing his girlfriend's dog was sentenced today. A judge gave Phil Savelli 60 days in jail on 3 counts of cruelty to animals and 3 years on controlled probation after he serves his 60-day sentence. He held a 10-month-old Yorkie underwater and put it into a freezer to die last year.
Well, Governor Mike DeWine was in town earlier today visiting Euclid to discuss the recent grant award for the police department. It will get more than $120,000 to launch a new body camera program. The department is one of 109 agencies in the state to receive money from this grant. In total, the funding will allow agencies to buy 1,700 new body cameras.
Just like the cost of most everything else, the price of Browns season tickets on the rise. Even though last season was a disappointment, the team issued a release today announcing the majority of its non-premium and non-club seats would be about $90 per game or less. In all, most season tickets will increase between $5 to $10 each game.
I mean, I could see that because, you know, supply chain issues, and obviously we have a supply chain issue on the offense. We can't get any, feeds down into the.
See what you did there.
I know you liked that, didn't you, man? That was good. All right, thanks.
Well,
I'm done.
It's all good if you're going to raise prices, but here's the deal. If you're going to raise prices, the consumer expects more.
Right?
So we expect more wins. And I trust fully right now the brain power that runs the Browns are in the process of trying to figure out exactly what was missing last year and then developing a plan to make sure that they take the steps to correct those missing pieces for the upcoming season.
Supply chain.
Supply
We've
chain.
talked about the whole receiver issue. And
yeah, give us a couple of receivers. We're going to need another lineman or 2. Defenders always help. And a kicker that's reliable.
See, this is where they should let the women do it, because we'd be like, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Listen, it's funny you say that because if you compare the number of women in the executive offices of NFL teams today back to just even 5 or 10 years ago, every organization has at least one, and they're adding them all the time.
Yep.
It's no longer a gentleman's club. I can promise you that.
Well, we all know that the forecast has a lot of us ready for spring, like real spring, to get here in a hurry. And our official countdown is now to 25 days. Our photo is from Denise McDonald in Canton. She says spring is her favorite season and she can't wait for it so she can enjoy her yard. And that looks like an amazing yard to get to enjoy.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, I have a great appreciation for the care that was taken in spreading that mulch.
Oh, yeah.
If you look, it's very well done in that all the flagstone completely has the mulch off of it. That takes great care. Now, I will say, it gets messed up in about 2 days.
This is before the dogs, kids, husbands got out there.
I know what happened here. Immediately after the mulch was put down, that picture was taken.
Yes, brush it off.
And shortly thereafter, the flagstone was covered again. I've been there many times. All right, we appreciate the picture. Now to our top talker. And as we prepare for another winter storm, we know there will be drivers on the road who haven't completely cleared snow and ice from their vehicles. Betsy, it's your pet peeve, it's mine too.
The excuses fly like crazy, but here's the deal. Flying snow and debris has been landing and crushing windshields. Lydia Esparra has the video on how quick this can happen.
Watch this video and what happens to an ODOT plow truck driver on US 52. Now watch again in slow motion. Pieces of ice falling off a vehicle on the other side of the interstate, smashing the ODOT driver's window.
That was probably 15 pounds of solid ice, and it just came right at me.
It also happened to my coworker, Hope Sloop.
It was a white Ford pickup truck, and they ended up just hitting a bump, and I just saw a massive chunk of ice fly straight up, and then it came right down on me. I was all the way in the right lane.
This happened on Route 2 as she headed west.
You can kind of see it cut.
It left a crater on the passenger side window and glass on the inside. Sloop had no idea that driver just broke the law.
Both the insurance and the police ended up saying it's against the law, like you should have gotten their plates.
When you get on the road and you're operating that vehicle with debris flying all over the place causing a hazard, then you're operating an unsafe vehicle.
Ray Santiago with the Highway Patrol says this type of incident is in the Ohio Revised Code, and failure to keep your car clear of snow is a minor misdemeanor. So safety starts even before you get into the car. Here's the thing, we're always going to have snow, so make sure you have your windshield wiper cleaner. You got to clean the back to the front because inevitably the snow is coming and danger comes with it.
Now you can't see where you're going, and it creates a whole nother situation.
A situation that could have caused serious injury to Hope, who always has clear and faithful perspective.
Cars can be replaced, windshields can be replaced, but people obviously not.
Lydia Esparra, 3 News.
We're so glad Hope is safe, but oh my gosh. Have you ever seen it when like stuff starts to fly? I hate it when you're on the highway, and it happens a lot with semi-trailers because they're out and they don't have brushes to get up there, I guess, and clean them off, and they get up to speed, and it's just these huge chunks. And
comes
now
off in sheets.
Now you're trying to drive like this, and
yeah, I know.
Scary.
And if you have just a small car, it is very easy.
If you have
just
a big car,
take the extra 10 or 15 seconds. Yeah, but I'm talking about as a driver.
Oh yeah.
I know that we are all concerned about clearing our front and back windshields so we can see, but just take a second, and if you see some on the hood. Or how about the people that
only do the front windshield?
Yeah.
They don't do the back windshield. They don't do the side. They're just like, okay, I'm only going one direction.
Or they make just a hole this big out the front windshield. I've seen that before.
It drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Like you just.
I know everybody's in a hurry, but just take the extra time and do everything all the way around.
You get what you get.
360 view.
All right, still ahead for us, the kids at Charles Dickens Elementary have been working really hard on their reading. We're going to check in on their progress, and we have details on how you can help keep them improving.
Then, do the Cavaliers want LeBron back? Remember, we did a poll yesterday asking our viewers, you want him back or not? 70% of you said, no, we're good. We'll tell you what the Cavs are saying about that coming up in Clicking in Cleveland. But first, here's Matt. He's got our weather in a jiffy. Hi again, Matt.
Well, we got a taste of spring last couple days, right? So this is the time of year that we as meteorologists really look for that warm-up in the models. So this was last night. I got a little footage of myself actually over a cup of coffee. Yeah, they're not in the 10-day. At least not in the 10-day. Might get a little warmer, but we're stuck in winter. We've got your forecasts, including our winter storm heading our way next 2 days. Coming up.
You look different there.
Haircut.
Is she going to need a lav or a stick mic? I'm talking. Does she need a lav or a stick mic or anything like that? Test 1 2 1 2 1 2 for Jocelyn.
All right, T-minus 24 hours now, and we will be on the precipice of yet another dance with a winter storm. And it's an ice storm again. That's the part that kind of gets everybody worked up. So we just want to let everybody know we've been through this dance before. We've got it, but you do need to take care tomorrow night.
Right, and it's going to be that time frame that we need to pay attention to. So Thursday after that evening rush hours when things go downhill, and then we're talking through Friday, and then we'll see improving conditions. So what does that timeline look like in terms of what you can expect falling from the sky? We'll likely have some snow showers around tonight, tomorrow with that initial wave coming in. There's going to be a lot of dry air working in the system, so we're not expecting a lot with that, but don't be surprised tomorrow morning you wake up with some snowflakes. Well, we're going to take a little break tomorrow midday through early afternoon. We could have some sun peaks, and then you notice by evening we're dealing with an icy mix and snow that moves in. Again, that's rush hour onward. And then as we get into the Thursday night, that holds. And then Friday, we have some leftover snow. So a little window of time where things are going to get messy around here. What's setting it up? Well, we've got the cold air in place. We had the warmth yesterday. We replaced that with a strong Arctic front. We've got cold air from here all the way towards the western U.S. Along that, though, we've got that boundary between the warm and the cold air. And we've got some waves of energy moving along that boundary. The first such wave is going to move in here tonight. Again, this is the weaker of the two. So you can see as we go through time, yeah, smattering of snow showers, some ice down to the south, but this one isn't going to be too big of a deal. That would last through morning. There's our break midday, and then our second wave comes in. This is where things start to get a little sloppy as we're dealing with some warmer air coming in aloft. We'll have some colder air here at the surface once again, and that leads to the freezing rain and sleet potential. Even a little rain working into this with some warmer air in our southern counties. We all turn cold and snowy on the backside. So let's take a good look at this. National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast. Dry tonight. Again, a couple snow flurries down to the south. This particular model not picking up on that. Temperatures are going to be cold tonight. Sun peaks towards midday, and then by afternoon we start to track this precip in. Should be a pretty quick hit once this moves in. So you might want to have everything done and get home if you have the chance around the evening rush hour, 7 o'clock hour. That's when this is going to move in from the west. We're dealing with sleet, freezing rain down to the south, snow off towards the north. That line will likely push a little bit further north as we go through the overnight hours. Could even play with some rain down towards the south. That would be a blessing for our friends down in Dover, New Philly, even Canton. But again, icy situation setting up in between right along the 71 corridor. And then we turn colder on the backside of this system. Could have some lingering lake effect on into Friday as well. So how much snow are we talking about? Not a blockbuster storm, but enough. 2 to 4 inches off towards the north, lesser amounts south. Again, that will likely hug the lakeshore. But then we also deal with icing. This is a mix of sleet and freezing rain that we'll have. Could have not a huge ice storm in terms of expecting big power outages, but definitely a nuisance to disruptive on the scale. And you notice how those two areas kind of overlap. That's why we're calling for an icy mix with this system, as that'll be fluctuating throughout the storm. So once we get your Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast on Friday, we do quiet things down. We'll clear things out on Saturday, Sunday, a couple flurries with a weak system in here. But next week, by all indication, we're going to have not just a quiet week, but we'll start to moderate the temperatures. Some of the models indicating maybe 50s, 60s later next week. We're going to go middle of the road right now as some of the models have cold air. But bottom line, we're going to break out of this after our Thursday, Friday system. We can enjoy some quiet weather across Northeast Ohio. Betsy.
All right, Matt, thanks. Well, it's been a few months since we last caught up with the third graders at our adopted school, Charles Dickens Elementary. And after a brief shutdown of our after-school tutoring program, Dickens Reads is now back up and running with some big changes.
Here's January Keaton with tonight's Education Station.
I think we're finally getting back on track.
Well, after Omicron and snowy weather conspired to cancel a lot of sessions in January and February, Dickens Reads has returned.
The children are finally, there's a bulk of them coming back, and then the volunteers are coming back too.
We've been following Miss J's third grade class all school year as they try to pass the state reading test. She's seen huge improvements since Dickens Reads began.
I've seen quite a bit of a difference, yes. I've seen a difference in their confidence. I've seen a difference in their love to read.
One of Miss J's students, Janaya, started Dickens Reads at a kindergarten first grade reading level. She's now a reading powerhouse.
Or presents to their love. And when she took her reading test, which is the alternative test to the state test, she got a 183.
Which means Janaya now reads at her grade level. Another of Miss J's students, 9-year-old Dewan's reading ability has skyrocketed since we saw him in September.
Knows it by her
a day for people to show love to their families and friends.
His math scores improved too.
Because his reading ability is going up and he's been able to read those questions more. So he's like more interested in those programs to help his math.
With Amanda's program that we've added this year, it has made it so much easier for us.
This is Amanda Lowe.
I'm an intervention specialist. I own the Stretch and Catch Reading Center.
Brought aboard Dickens Reads this year, Amanda assesses each student's reading ability and structures the program to fit their individual needs.
Every single session is catered exactly to their needs, and then they are growing each time they are here.
A small gesture like reading with kids, not only making a big difference in these little lives, but in the lives of our dedicated volunteers.
Honestly, it's some of the most rewarding hours of my week.
And that's what Dickens Reads is all about.
When I heard the story on Channel 3, I just felt like it would be a really sad thing for kids to have to go through their elementary years not knowing how much joy reading can bring.
And yes, we are here live at Charles Dickens Elementary School here in Cleveland for Family Literacy Night, and it has been a great turnout. And so far, the third graders have been amazing. Their literacy levels have risen, and that is also due in part to their wonderful principal, Jocelyn Foster. It's Family Literacy Night. You've seen the scores. You've seen the third graders' reading abilities rise. How does that make you feel as a principal?
As a principal, it couldn't make me prouder. I am so excited for my scholars. I'm so excited for this opportunity for them. Yeah. We know that this puts them the next step further in their futures and what is to come.
So let's talk about what's going on here tonight. What is Family Literacy Night?
So Dickens Reads, which is also supported by Channel 3 WKYZ, put on Family Literacy Night to promote reading with families, to provide families and parents with strategies on what they can do to read with their kids at home. We were also supported by Literacy in the Hood and ensuring that parents knew how important it is for kids to read every single night for 15 to 20 minutes so they can just continue to get better.
And the younger, the better. Now, talk to me, the second and third graders, they are the ones who are getting the most help here for Dickens Reads. The volunteers are coming here to read to them twice a week. How important are volunteers? And talk to the public about how in need we are of volunteers.
Volunteers are so incredibly important. Anytime we can provide one-to-one tutoring for our scholars, it just provides them with the opportunity for increased learning. This assists teachers in the classroom with everything that they're teaching. The support is just tremendous. So we love for volunteers to come to Charles Dickens. We encourage you to go to the website, look the program up. I believe it's the Education Station.
Education Station, that's right.
Yes.
And all you have to do is really just type in Education Station on WKYC.com. And a real quick shout out to Chick-fil-A. They supplied all the food. Everybody's belly is full because Family Literacy Night, it's not just about reading, it's about the fellowship and the gathering and the getting together. And like she said, if you do want to become a volunteer to come and read with the children twice a week, that's all for an hour, go to our website, WKYC.com, everybody.
All right, January, thank you very much. It is a terrific program. I had a chance to meet the kids and the educators in December. Love them all. What's new? It's coming right back with Clicking in Cleveland.
Mic check. What's clicking in Cleveland? Our ways to break your sugar addiction. Thank you. Hello.
Tonight, What's New continues to honor achievements in medicine and healthcare during Black History Month. Danielle Wiggins brings us the story of a woman who faced an uphill battle to become a nurse. She not only succeeded in that dream, but made it her mission to bring other minorities into the profession as well.
This is May Hinton Weichel, the first African-American nursing school dean at Case Western Reserve University. Her trailblazing career started in the 50s as the first person of color to work at Martins Ferry Hospital. The hospital staff even threatened to strike over the employment. Undeterred, Weichel went on to break color barriers by being admitted to nursing school there. Her next stop, Case Western Reserve, for her master's and her PhD in nursing. Weichel's teachers were so impressed, they asked her to join the faculty. Today, she is one of the nation's most distinguished nursing leaders and an internationally recognized expert in the field of geriatric and mental health nursing. The school's Board of Trustees also created the May L. Weichel Endowed Professorship to recognize her many contributions to nursing and healthcare leadership.
Wow. Danielle, thanks for that story. You can learn more about all of the people that we have featured this month in our Black History section. It's on our website, WKYC.com.
All right, now it's time to see what's clicking in Cleveland. For that, we bring in our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. Hi, Stephanie. Happy Wednesday.
Hi, Betsy. Happy Wednesday. Now, listen, this one is for the people with the sweet tooth because there's a study that shows on average people eat way too much sugar, and the Cleveland Clinic says that's because new research finds sugar is biologically addicting. So they have tips for us to cut that out. They recommended going on a strict 10-day detox to break an addiction to sugar. They say to do it cold turkey, cut it all out. White flour, artificial sugars, all of it. And they say to eat protein and healthy fats with every meal. Nuts, seeds, avocados, that'll do it. And get your sleep because less than 8 hours a night can lead to cravings or that sugar can sneak in. See all those tips on WKYC.com. Now, with all of that LeBron James talk about a possible return to Cleveland, one veteran NBA reporter is saying, not so fast. Substack's Mark Stein says he thinks Dan Gilbert and Kobe Altman may not want to return to a situation where LeBron James is running the show now that they're having success without him. He did also say, though, that if there were a realistic opportunity on the table to bring him home, it would be hard for them to turn it down, and he would have to see that one to believe it. And we will all have to wait and see what happens there in the next few years. Now, you hear her on the radio on Q104, and if you're on TikTok, you probably know her face from there. Check out Morgan Wright.
At the NBA All-Star Game introduced Megan Fox as MGK's wife. It's posing some questions. Did the announcer just make a mistake, or did these two get secretly married?
Buckle up, y'all, because Pete Davidson is now on Instagram.
Aaron Rodgers and Shayla.
During the pandemic, by doing what she loves, talking celebrity gossip, MGK, Megan Fox, all of it, the Kardashians, Pete Davidson, she is all over it. And with more than 7.5 million views, her 134,000 followers absolutely love it. So she's Morgan P. Talks on TikTok, Jay and Betsy. And she also launched a new podcast. It's called Morgan's Pop Talks. Gotta love the business person. You know that saying, if you build it, they will come. They are definitely coming for Morgan P. Talks.
Very good. Wow. Stephanie, thanks. We appreciate it. Up next, canine officers need protection too, don't they? We're going to introduce you to the local canine getting a bullet and stab protective vest thanks to a nonprofit in our Show Us Something Good.
Right. Hey, mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check. Laura Queso's mic. David, you have time to pop me or no? Okay, thank you. Thanks, David.
And I'm like, well, I can believe that because it's happening. Is Russ okay?
Yes. It's not people that are in the process of doing that, typically. Hello. Hi, David. I'm here. I got you. Yep. Mostly fruit flavors. Yep, I got you.
Roll ahead of it. It's a big deal.
See, we did it. Perfect dismount. Russian judge gives us a 4. Well, the Russian judge is never fair.
He's hacking into the system right
He
now.
just hacked the scorecard and wrote a 4.
Well, today's Show Us Something Good comes from Garfield Heights. The police department's K-9 Creed will get a bullet and stab protective vest, and it's all thanks to a nonprofit called Vested Interest in Canines. His vest will be sponsored by a doctor in Maryland and will be embroidered with the sentiment, born to love, trained to serve, loyal always.
Wow.
He should have it in 8 to 10 weeks. Hopefully we'll get another updated picture of him with his fancy vest on.
Can you just look at that face? That is a beautiful animal.
But that dog.
And yeah, oh, listen, don't cross him.
There's a business end to that dog.
Or don't have anything on your person that you shouldn't have.
Right.
It almost looks like he's saying in that picture, thank you. Maybe I'm just assigning emotions.
Being very nice.
I do that with pets. We're out of time. Thank you so much for joining us for What's New. We're back tomorrow at 5, and we hope to see you again then.
3 News at 6 with Laura starts now.
Caught on camera.
Our goal here is to get people to slow down.
More communities are adding traffic cameras, and the fines are adding up. How much cities are cashing in, and are they even legal? Pothole problems, how quickly they're being taken care of, and what to do if your vehicle gets damaged. Contempt of court? Ohio's Redistricting Commission is making its pitch today. The latest on the saga and how soon we could see new maps. And hiring soon. 3,000 new jobs could be coming to 2 Northeast Ohio communities. We'll tell you where.
Live from WKYC Studios, this is 3 News at 6.
Good evening and thanks for being with us. I'm Laura Queso. Russ is on assignment. Tonight, while Ohio's Supreme Court and the State House consider the legalities, several Northeast Ohio communities are again turning to traffic cameras to slow drivers down. But is it working? Sarah Shookman tells us which towns are signing up for speed cams and why.
Mayfield Village Police patrol a relatively small section of I-271, but in late 2020, they started to recognize a big problem.
Some drivers decided to use the opportunity to drive a lot faster than they should be.
ODOT data showed a 100% increase in the number of cars speeding 85 miles an hour or faster in the 60 zone. So this year, after a month of warnings, Mayfield started mailing speeding tickets January 1st. There are no fixed cameras, just police officers manning handheld laser cameras during the weekday rush hours. And they've only ticketed drivers traveling 16 or more miles an hour over the limit. And in 6 weeks, the village collected more than $54,000.
None of the numbers have really surprised us. What we're hoping is as people become more aware of the program and see that we're trying to get people to slow down, that they just start to voluntarily bring their speed down a little bit.
Safety of the officers conducting a traffic stop is another motivator for nearby Gates Mills. Late this spring, it will run fixed traffic cameras along Mayfield Road where there's no safe place to pull over. Across town, Parma Heights City Council is looking at reactivating a camera at Pearl and York Roads. That would likely happen in May or June. Police Chief Steve Skarschmidt said they'd also like a handheld camera to use on residential streets where speeding is a recognized issue. Overwhelmingly, these cities say it's safety, not spending money they're after, and they say it works.
Our goal here is to get people to slow down. And I say for people who don't like our photo enforcement program, if you just slow down through Mayfield Village, you don't have to participate in the program.
That is the sure way to avoid a mailbox surprise, but there are still several legal challenges out there. Earlier this month, the state Supreme Court heard arguments from the city of Newburgh Heights over a 2019 House Bill 62, which legislatures passed to deter cities from photo enforcement by reducing the state money given to local governments dollar for the amount of fines collected. Now, while we wait on that ruling, Laura, the Ohio House is now considering 7 new and separate bills that would regulate and mostly restrict camera use.
7 of them. All right, good to know. Sarah, thanks so much. Sure. Between winter and spring, Northeast Ohio has another season, potholes, and they are popping up just about everywhere. Emma Henderson joins us live now to tell us what to do if you hit one and what road crews are doing now to take care of them, and there are a lot of them. Hi, Emma.
That's right, Laura. They're really not hard to find. If you look right behind me at this intersection, we've got some actually filled with water right now. It's really that roller coaster up and down of the hot and cold weather that determines just how bad they get. And we've definitely been on that roller coaster this past couple of weeks. ODOT crews are out on highways making repairs as reports come in, so they're asking you to please be careful if you see one of their vehicles with blinking lights. Merge into another lane, because where there's trucks, there's people. Right now, they're doing temporary fixes as conditions allow because of this freeze-thaw cycle that we've been seeing.
All the weather conditions are just perfect for them. We're seeing the ice and snow melting, it's saturating through the pavement and into the ground, and then it gets cold again and it freezes and it kind of heaves everything up.
Now, while we were out and about in Cleveland today, we actually saw potholes that had been filled with gravel, so it appears that crews are out trying to fix the issue, but we weren't able to speak to city officials because they say they're preparing for the snow tomorrow. Now, in Akron, if you're seeing a pothole cause a major issue, that's when you call their 311, and then if you're looking at ODOT, just go to their website and you can report the potholes there. Laura?
It's good to know cities are trying to fix this issue. Emma, thank you so much for that report. Well, new details on a body found buried in a basement at this home on Cleveland's west side. Police received a tip that an inmate currently at Cuyahoga County Correction Center killed a man and buried his body inside this home. Isabel Lawrence has been following this story all day long. She's the very latest now. Good evening to you, Isabel.
Good evening, Laura. Yeah, police have named 28-year-old Andrew Smith as the person of interest in this case. They said he's currently in custody for a different crime. Now,